to Shiloh Network News with Dr. Scott Stripling.
I'm Scott Stripling.
And I'm Gary Byers.
And we're with Shiloh Network News. Folks, I want to take a minute to introduce you to Gary, who's our Assistant Dig Director, also Senior Archaeologist on the dig. And Gary, you just transitioned out of 20 years at Helping Up and got on a plane, flew to Israel.
20 years of Helping Up mission. It was the coolest job I've ever had.
That's what I've always heard.
Working with men struggling with drug and alcohol addiction, finding spiritual hope and answers in the Bible through Jesus Christ. It was the coolest thing I've ever done. But at 67, God called me to the next thing, and you were one of the reasons why. And so here I am and having a great time.
You're transitioning into a new phase. Your house is sold. You're moving to Albuquerque. You got a really neat new position. Tell us about it.
Well, Scott and I met at Tel El Hammam, sponsored by Trinity Southwest University in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Scott moved over here and started digging with me and with us at the Associates for Biblical Research at Kirbet El Makader. Eventually became the dig director there, and I worked with him there, and now I'm working with him here. But I stayed on at Tel El Hammam, and it's been 14 seasons there. Massive site and biblical period site. So I stayed there, and the university that sponsored it, Trinity Southwest University, has offered me a position. So I still am retired, but I will be working on a regular, probably daily basis, at least a few hours every day at the College of Archaeology, Trinity Southwest University. And I'm thrilled to be able to work with students and help them as they transition in their lives to the next thing God's called them to do, and still keep right in the middle of archaeology.
One of the things that we both believe in, Gary, is not just teaching, but training and mentoring and, being involved in people's lives. And when we look around and we know every one of these people by name and their story, and we see how they're growing, it's really rewarding, isn't it?
It really is. To know God and experience Him in your life is just awesome. But to pass it on and watch it click in somebody else's life makes all the difference in the world.
No pressure, Victoria. Most eyes you've ever had on you in your whole life. But yeah. That's all we're missing is the rim. We're standing right in front of this glacis and this ancient fortification walls. What do you have to say about Shiloh?
Well, this is where our third year, and very famous city. Scott calls it the first capital of Israel because this is where Joshua brought the people. The tabernacle was here somewhere, and they divided the land from here. This was the first capital of Israel, and we're digging it. And this outside wall, it's 5 meters wide. And by the way, I discovered the inside first, the first year, and we got chocolate bars for finding it, ice cream bars. It was awesome.
So you mean if people come on this dig, they get to have chocolate bars and have fun? Wow.
And all the dirt you can eat. The tell is right over there, and our team is excavating here in our third week, but we are over here nearby looking inside a second temple tomb. Second temple means the temple that was built again by Zerubbabel, but beautified by Herod. And during that time period, that's when this tomb was built. You can see it nice carved on the outside here, nice squaring off. Somebody went to a lot of work.
One of the most important things that we're endeavoring to ascertain as we excavate here is how ancient peoples understood their relationship with God. We know that there was, of course, an altar here in biblical times. Jerome claims to have actually seen the altar while he was here in the 5th century. At Shiloh, there is a 4-horned altar that was found in secondary usage. Just last week, we found what might be a horn of another 4-horned altar. Across at the site at the northwest, at Givat Hadel, there is a massive 4-horned altar. And now we're sitting at a 4th possible location, just below us, in this little open silo, is another ancient altar. And it's square, it's unhewn stone, but it just goes to show you that ancient peoples had the same basic needs and desires that we have in the modern world. How do I connect with God? Who am I? What is my purpose? Why am I here? Where am I going? And when we see this, it reminds us of man's desire to know God, and it reminds us of our own desire to know God as well. So as we explore the burial practices, the altars, and the material culture, we are able to then understand life in biblical times. Boyd, we're standing here at Kermit Kayafa. You're an Old Testament prof, and you finally made it here.
And this was the most recent archaeological find that seems to validate the biblical text about the monarchy of David. So I'm excited to be here. This is my first time.
What's really cool, we know they got an ostracon from here that was really important, and we're standing in the gate complex. What's so unique about the gate or gates here at Kayafa?
Well, it's not all that big of a site, and so you would expect a gate, but here you have two gates, this one here and another one over on that side. And that probably means we are at Sha'araim, which in Hebrew is the two gates. So it's some place that was unique enough to have two gates, so this may well be it.
When we stand here, we think about the early Israelites and what their dreams and aspirations and fears must have been. And then we look at the material culture and we compare it to what we're excavating and try to understand it and put it in a context. How does that impact your students when you do something like this and take that back home?
They're still trying to figure out what is the biblical world like, and so you're introducing that to them and then say, well, here's one where we can see this much more about the biblical world, and this kind of information then helps support the veracity of the text. It's real history, it really did happen, and you can find evidence of it, powerful evidence of it, in the ground a lot of times.
For people like me, it's a dream come true to be able to do this. Never dreamed in my life I could do anything like this, but it's happened. And there are folks out there listening and watching that would like to do the same thing, and it can happen for them too.
Well, we invite you guys to join with us, pray for us, and we look forward to staying in touch with you. I'm Scott Stripling.
And I'm Gary Byers, and this is Shiloh Network News.